gonna put you up.
All the fathers who stayed and made up that 25% and stuck it out and endured, we salute you. We celebrate you. We honor you. We honor you. We honor you. We honor you. To all that ran away, we want to help you. We want to help you. We want to help you. We're not mad at you. We don't hate you. We don't despise you. We want to help you. We need you. Most of the time you ran away because you never saw nobody stay. And if staying isn't modeled in front of you, you will hit a stage where leaving seems like the only solution. And what the child doesn't know is that men don't leave their children, they leave their mother. Sometimes mama makes it hard for daddy to stay because mama has not had a proper experience with a father, and she's fussing at him all the time because she thinks she knows what he ought to be, and he's trying to be sometimes what she wants him to be and becoming frustrated because God didn't tell you to be what she wants you to be. God told you to be what he wants you to be. So she can't become your barometer lest she become your God. Success is not for me to be what my wife wants me to be. Success is for me to be what God wants me to be. But if you're not careful and you're a talker and I'm not, you will talk, fuss, trying to shape me into what you think I ought to be, and you didn't even have that either. So in order to get this thing right, there has to be a humility that comes along that says, none of us fully know what we're talking about. All we know is what was modeled in front of us. So let me kind of go a little deeper. If my parents argued all the time, that becomes my norm. And so I am not going to be happy till we fight, because there's something wrong with quiet. If what was modeled inside of me was swallowing up how I feel and not speaking out my feelings, then I want everybody to just shut up. Let's not confront it. Let's not talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I'm getting out of the house. I don't want to talk to you because in my model, we don't talk. When the culture of my family, when I marry you, the two cultures marry. The culture of your family and the culture of my family marry, and they are generally two different cultures, and getting them to come together and work it out safely without driving the kids crazy is a difficult task, which makes marriage hard. Because your idea of what's normal and my idea of what's normal is two different normals, when in truth, there is no normal. Trust me, Lord have mercy. I've been pastoring 44 years. There is no normal. There is no normal. There's only, for Christians, God's word that gives us a metric to measure how things ought to be.
Hello, and welcome to Let's Have a Conversation podcast. I want to do something different today and play a video before we dove into the conversation. So today, if you may or may not know, we're going to be talking about, this is Men's Mental Health Month, correct, Dr. Champion?
That is correct.
Yes, so we are going to be talking about that, and also we have a special guest on today, so he's going to briefly talk about his role as a Black father and all he has endured and been through. But before I go any further, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Champion, and she's going to talk a little bit and what she has on today, and then we'll move on from there.
Good evening. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Fresh Fire Friday. This week we're going to be talking about fathers and fatherhood and Black fathers, Black men's mental health. As has been stated, this is Black Men's Mental Health Month. And so we want to talk a little bit about that. But I want to give just a scripture, part of a scripture actually, that will give us some foundation to what I'm talking about. Our scripture is coming from Matthew chapter 6, verse number 9. Again, that's Matthew chapter 6, beginning at verse number 9. And it says, I'm only going to read just a few words. Matthew 6 and verse 9. In this manner, therefore, pray, our Father. And I'm going to leave it there. The reason I'm only giving a portion of this is because there's so many people in the world who have grown up without the presence of a father. They may know about their father. They may know who their father is by name, but have never had that fatherly experience. And so because of the lack of fathers in the home, whether it's male boys who didn't have their father or girls who did not have their father, there has been a tremendous stigma and mental health and mental trauma that has taken place within our society, within people in the church. And therefore, because of the fact that they have had no relationship with their father, or the relationship has been traumatic and tumultuous, they choose not to recognize or even trust God to be their father. So I want to give just a little bit of statistics and data around this issue of Black men and mental health. And then we're going to bring in our special guest for this afternoon. So it is stated that Black men face profound mental health challenges rooted in systemic inequities, racial trauma, and cultural stigmas. In other words, Black men just don't go and talk to anybody because to them it is a problem. It's an issue. Data states that suicide is the third leading cause of death for Black men between the ages of 15 and 24. Additionally, suicide rates among young Black men have doubled over the last 2 decades. Did y'all know this? Did you know that this data even existed? So that's significant for our Black men and our Black women who have to raise families with their Black sons who are between this age bracket. Black women, our mothers, are not even equipped to handle this kind of information. So let me go on. Black men report high levels of daily crisis and racialized trauma. Those exposed to trauma report significantly lower rates of mental health service utilization. On average, it's 30% in comparison to their white peers. And there are somatic symptoms, issues that affect our black men, just traditionally. Traditional sadness or inactivity, distress in Black men often manifests physically as anger, workaholism, and substance use. So this is significant when we're talking about our Black men in general, who choose not to seek out mental health to get well. And data states that 4.7% of Black and African American adults have experienced a serious mental illness. If that happens to be you, we're going to give you some tools and some information and some data, some tools to be able to use to get the help that you may desire. Black men face compounding mental health crisis driven by societal standards of masculinity, systemic racism, and deep-rooted medical mistrust. So for all my brothers that are on here today, how many of you have ever experienced medical mistrust, which keeps you from seeking out mental health services for yourself? You don't have to, you could just say me, you could, or Malik can gather that number and let us know. So the fact is that there's a stigma that often is associated with Black men getting and seeking mental health services, because what tends to happen is men will bottle it up. They'll hold it in, they won't say anything, and then ultimately they explode. And sometimes they take out their aggression on other people in their household, their wives, their girlfriends, their children. And most recently, if you watch the news or pay any attention to it, you heard of a story, I believe it was in Alabama, where a Black man went and killed all of his children. Okay, it was 8 of them, and he hurt the women associated with them as those children as well. And I'm not sure. I believe he either was taken down by police officers or he harmed himself. But nevertheless, the reason for this man not seeking out mental health services is because he did not want to have to face child support court. And so oftentimes we find our men not getting the help that they need and taking their anger out on others for something very simple. So imagine this man and all of his children would still be alive today had he only sought out proper mental health services for himself. Let's talk about the religious expectations. So within our Christian community, mental health and counseling and all kinds of things were demonized by the church. We were told that seeking out mental health services is not healthy. You have a demon. We'll cast it out. We'll throw you all over the altar. We'll put grease all over you. You'll roll over. You'll walk out and you'll be fine. But we also noticed that that's not the case. Where that comes from is the man at the tombs. But we also have to realize that Jesus knew what he was doing when he talked to this man and talked to the demons that he possessed. And so within our church culture, we sometimes find that talking about mental health issues or talking about Black men's health is not something that we typically do, because it's not looked at as being a great topic in our churches. And so many people in our churches are hurting because they don't get the help that they need because of fear or because of anxiety or what might be said to them. So today, I also want to talk about the father-daughter relationship. The reason I'm picking fathers and daughters versus fathers and sons is because of our special guest and what he has been facing. So let me just talk about this. I know that there's probably some of our ladies on here who really didn't have a father around, or a father figure, a stepfather, grandfather who played that significant role. And sadly, the the relationship between a father and daughter is gravely affected when there is no father figure in the home. The relationship between fathers and daughters is a profound bond that centers on protection, affirmation, and legacy, often serving as a young girl's first example of how to be loved and respected. An actively engaged father shapes his daughter's self-esteem and future relationship standards while actively combating external societal pressures. So there's a tremendous weight on the father's shoulders to guide his daughter into life, basically. We've all heard of the new phrase, I'm a girl dad. And it's a movement that has elevated the essential nature of dads raising daughters. And a daughter's first example of love comes from her father. He is her first role model. His involvement establishes her inner voice and sense of worth, especially in a society that too often questions Black femininity and beauty standards. He also sets the tone for her academic and social success. A father's input into his daughter's life provides that foundation for her to succeed and to accomplish the things and goals that she has set for herself. And it also sets the standard for relationships that she will have moving forward with other male people in her life. The impact of an absent father, when a father is not there, when he has no relationship, this daughter faces emotional insecurities, self-image distress, and early relationship choices tend to not be so positive. So it's important that we understand the role of a father in the life of his daughter. So, Malik, we'll turn it over to you.
Sorry, I have myself on mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
So I hope that everybody grabs something from everything that she said. I do see that Kevin has wrote in the chat, but I'll read some of these a little later because I want to go ahead and bring on our guest.
Okay.
I don't want to keep him waiting too much longer. So if you want to introduce him, and then I'll just bring him on.
Yes, I will do that. So, ladies and gentlemen of Fresh Fire Fridays and of this podcast that Malik Berger hosts on a regular basis, I am pleased, I'm honored, I'm stoked, I'm excited, I'm all of that to bring in my son, Michael Champion, better known as Tony to everyone else. Tony is my firstborn. He is 37, and he is part of the Girl Dad movement. And we're bringing him in today to talk to him and to hear his story about the relationship between he and his daughter and some of the struggles and pain that he is experiencing, but also for him to celebrate and for us to celebrate him for the magnificent life that he has been presenting and providing for his daughter. So with that being said, Malik, you can bring in our guest, my son, Tony Champion. You like the clap, huh?
All right, so I want to go ahead and get into it. So what I always do, I let you, have the stage. I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us, just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll just dive into the questions.
My name is Tony, 37. I have a 10-year-old daughter. Just a hardworking man, just trying to, get to where I would like to be in life.
Okay. So being a Black father, so tell us what that means to you.
Black father.
or just being a father.
The word father
Okay.
to me is very important.
Yes.
And then when you put black to emphasize black father, it's almost like a double. It's almost like a certain standard you have to carry as a man, but also as a black man, given how our histories and the histories of us, go in this country, in this life that we live, things that we've seen our ancestors or what have you. So to be that, to me, I think it's one of the most important jobs in life, personally.
Got any questions?
No.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your relationship with you and your daughter.
One of the best feelings I ever had in my life. Every time I see her, going back to when she was born, and to see her grow up, and mind you, it's not the way that I would like to see her grow up, but I'm seeing her grow up and seeing, certain things about her, learning more things about her as she gets older and develops into a young lady. And every time I see her, man, it's almost like the first time. Every time I have to say goodbye to her, it's almost like the first time, and things like that. So yeah, I'm just very emotional when it comes to her. I'm very passionate about my relationship with my daughter and being her father. Like I said, it's the most important job to me in this world.
So I know that it hasn't always, it's not always easy, raising a child or being in a relationship or, just in general, so what are some of the struggles, the difficulties that you have faced while, raising your daughter?
I've had to deal with, and currently am dealing with, a custody battle for her, given how I'm assuming things ended between her mother and I. I can't really put a finger on why I'm even in this or why I'm even having to fight for my daughter in the first place, aside from me being a protector, me having to protect my daughter, even if that's from her other parents. So, it's one of those things. It's very hard at times seeing her because of the situation that I'm in. The government and things of that nature, they don't make it easy for not just black men, but men, period. Fathers, period. The way this world is going on.
Yeah.
It's not easy being in your kid's life, even when you're a good father, a good man, even when you mean to do well, try to do well, and somehow that gets thrown back in your face. And it's almost, damn, excuse my language, it's almost impossible. But I guess that's just what it is, I suppose.
Tony, can you elaborate a little on what what the situation stemmed from and what you're facing right now?
Bitterness. I believe that sometimes when relationships don't work out, and it's not just women, to jump on women here, but there's been a lot of bitter men throughout history to do things, and if a relationship doesn't work out the way one party would like it to, there's things that can arise. There's feelings and emotions that arise in people that have them do some of the worst things to another human being. And yeah, that's where it stems from. Her mother and I didn't, we didn't see eye to eye, weren't, as compatible as I would like it, for us to be. And so, people grow apart, people grew distant. And that's just what happened, honestly. And ever since me separating from that relationship and trying to focus on me and being just a father instead of, having the burden of being with someone and all that stuff. I just feel like it was very overwhelming to me at that time, given I was young. It was my first child. So yeah, there was a lot of things and a lot of factors that played into why I'm in what I'm in. Um, but honestly, ultimately, I think the word is just bitterness, to be honest.
Do you feel comfortable sharing with the audience, without giving names or anything, what situation is that you're facing?
Sexual misconduct and allegations towards my daughter is what I've been accused of for years. Still being accused of it to this day. I've done everything that I needed to do as far as complying with any and everybody I needed to prove my innocence, to prove that, these accusations have been and will always be false. And like I said, this country, man, even complying and doing everything you need to do as a man to prove your innocence somehow just isn't used properly. You feel what I'm saying? It's not used to help you. It's used to benefit somebody else's narrative or to something. Just, long story short, I've been in this battle for 7 years, 8 years, ever since my daughter was going on the age of 3, and she's currently 10 now. And there have been no criminal charges. There has never been anything like that regarding me being in trouble for any of these accusations. And again, I say accusations because that's all they are. And so, yeah, that's basically the burden of what I'm having to do and deal with and how I interact with my daughter. I currently I have supervised visits with my daughter, where a friend of mine is actually the supervisor, which is kind of weird. But again, it's another story for another day. So, yeah, that's basically what I'm in.
So, Malik, I'm going to summarize a little bit of what he's basically going through. So, at the age of 3, the mother had his daughter, who is my granddaughter, to go to the court to state that he touched her inappropriately. And it was not founded. Nothing has been proven. And as he stated, this has been going on now for 7 years. And for a Black man to be accused of something sexual around a child is criminal in and of itself, where he is not a criminal. So I'm sure that there are some fathers on here that are going through or have gone through maybe child custody situations. And it's not easy in this particular situation because he's an African-American man, articulate, knows what he's talking about, but yet accused of things that he never did. So, Tony, let me ask you this. So, how has this situation affected you, affected your mental health? How has it affected you emotionally going through this situation?
It's affected me in the worst way possible, I believe, aside from me physically harming myself or someone else, aside from those things, which I'm thankful, every day to God about. This has opened my eyes and, changed my thought process on how I view not just women, but men in general, just people, how I see people, how I view human beings. If this makes any sense, I feel like going through this in a way has kind of helped me get a little bit closer to God, but also as well kind of pull back from him as well. This has given me PTSD. I don't sleep properly. I don't eat properly. I have bouts of short. I keep things real short. I'm pretty stern with my family. You know, I lash out on them because sometimes they're the only ones to talk to that I can talk to about this. And if I'm not hearing the right things from them, my frustrations on the situation will come out and lash out at them, you know, my mother or my father or, you know, friends in my circle sometimes. And I don't mean it to be, you know, a personal attack. It's just what I'm going through. Some days I don't want to talk. Some days I talk too much. Sometimes all I do is really just sit back and watch, you know, a lot of comedy or things to make me laugh, to not think about anything other than laughter. Because I guess that's a good feeling for me when I laugh. But outside of that, I'm struggling, still struggling.
Malik?
I do. I'm sorry because I'm just sitting back listening to it. I mean, you said a lot. And it is a lot that you're going through. But I do want to point out the fact, and I would hope, you know, that maybe one day she will see this, that you don't stop trying, and that's commendable because I know a lot of black men, you know, may be going through what you're going through or have gone through what you've gone through, and they just give up. Like, you know, why keep trying because they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, it just seems like there is no end to the drama, the chaos.
So
So I
I think you froze.
did I freeze? Am I? Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, you're back.
Okay. So I just wanted to take the time out to commend you for, you know, just trying and to keep going on to, you know, get custody of your daughter. So I thank you for being one of the few black men that show up in the midst of it all. So you talked a little bit about your mental health. So what does keep you going? And I know, of course, your daughter. I know that's one of the reasons. But why have you not given up? I know that's probably a question coming from a few people. Why have you not given up facing all that you are facing right now with the, you know, the lies and everything? Why, you know, why do you keep doing what you're doing?
That's a great question, man. I ask myself that every second of every day, honestly. I ask you ask my mother. Um, to be honest, I don't know other than the faith that my mom has had her entire life and that she basically tried to instill into me. That's all I have. The faith in Jesus Christ, the faith in something bigger than this world that we live in. Um, there's something. I can't really put my finger on it outside of the fact that I love my daughter more than sometimes myself, um, which might be a detriment because I'm not really taking care of myself in the way that I should, given these accusations. Because there's times where I go months without seeing her, and you know, there's one point in time I went a whole year without seeing her, and to not give up. I mean, like I said, I've gone through every emotion, every thought. I wanted to. I still kind of want to. You know, just being honest, because I don't see the point in basically I'm fighting a losing battle. It's almost like, you know, it's tailor made for me to fail, and so that's what they're just trying to do. Like I can't really put my finger on it, man. But I don't want my daughter to see and know that I gave up on her in any fashion. I just don't want her to ever have to think about that, ever have to wonder, well, what would dad do? You know, if daddy came, like, I just don't ever want her to ever have to question me about what I feel or what I want to do for her.
I also have another question. So I don't know your dynamic with your father. I don't know anything about that. Do you think the reason why you go so hard for your daughter is it because that your father maybe didn't go hard for you, or because I don't know, you know, I don't know.
Um, Me and my dad, my father, we have a we have a good relationship. I've known him my whole life. He's never been someone that I've had to wonder, oh, where is he? Who is he? You know, I've never had to seek him out. He's always been around. I'm blessed as a man to have that. And again, I say black, you know, not just black men, even though we're talking about us, but just men, period. There's a lot of men I know that's not black that don't know their fathers and things of that nature. So I'm thankful and real blessed to have the relationship and dynamic with my pops that I do have. Me and my dad, man, it's a very interesting dynamic. I'm not an only child of my mother and father. I have a little sister as well. And I guess I would say, to answer your question thoroughly, I go so hard for my daughter off the simple fact of me seeing my dad, I guess, not really do that much for my sister. And when I say that much, I mean, did he pick us up together? Yes, because that's my sister, you know, same dad, same mom, you know, we came, you know, we all linked up together. But there was certain things in my adolescence and, you know, my youth growing up, seeing him where he would just kick it with me. And I had no problem with that. You know, I wanted to be around my pops, you know, what young boy wouldn't. And I didn't really question it or really get it until I got older. He just didn't really, he wasn't really a girl dad, even though he had a daughter. And my sister right now, all I have to do is just ask people to pray for her. But yeah, he wasn't really a girl dad. And part of me, I guess, going hard as I can is just I didn't want my daughter to be like my sister.
Dr. Champion.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can just keep going. So, Tony, that was pretty profound for you to say that about your father. Let's kind of shift a bit and let's talk about some funny stuff. Can you tell the people some funny moments that you have had with and for the sake of the conversation, Miss Penelope? Tell us some funny things you've done with Penelope that you.
What's her real name, Mom? That her name is Penelope.
No, we have to say her pseudo name. Gotta say her stage names. And we don't, because we don't know, we don't know who knows who. And just to say Penelope is fine. Okay. So let me tell you how she got the nickname, everybody. So when she was born, of course, I was there with him and just the happiest grandmother in the world. And I always called her Peanut Chew because Peanut Chews are candy that is infamous with Philadelphia. And she was just a little Peanut Chew. And so as she grew older, it fell off to, it went to Penelope, it went to P, just the letter P. And then it went to Penelope as she's growing up, the little girl with the pocketbook and the gloves and all of that. So one day, my funny story with her, one day I said, you know what, I'm going to change your nickname to something else. She said, no. She said, my nickname is P and I'm Penelope. I said, okay. So she is a hoot. So Tony, talk about some funny anecdote that you have with her and how that has shaped you as a father.
Well, first off, I already love her. I just love her mind, her memory. She can remember things sometimes that I done forgot sometimes, or might have forgotten sometimes. And she's only 10. She's like, Dad, remember when we did this? I'm like, yeah, I remember that. But we have our secret handshake. I taught her a handshake, only me and her do. And she's remembered it for years. Even like I said, even when there's periods where I don't see her for a while, and if I see her, and she's, Daddy, handshake, boom, boom, and then we do that. I just love it. She's my heart, man. I don't really know. She's just a funny kid. She loves to have fun. Trampoline, parks, front flipping, doing all that stuff. We crack jokes. We have inside jokes, me and her. It's just a great relationship, man. When we're together.
Hmm. And um, as a young father, because you're not old and not, senior citizen, um, as a young father, what would you teach her now? What's one thing you would want to teach her as a young father?
Maybe, well, I mean, she's still young, but I would like to try to teach her about trust, about, excuse me, about being trustworthy, and about also trusting others. Learning
Mm.
how to do that, learning how to be someone who can be relied upon, um, and not just for your friends or whatever, but work or something important in life, just to be able to be a trustworthy, reliable person. Um, Tell the truth, even when the truth makes people uncomfortable, and it always will make people uncomfortable. The truth will always make people uncomfortable for whatever reason,
Mhm.
but that's because the devil rules this world and he wants us to be liars. So that's why the truth will make people uncomfortable. I think, but I want her to always tell the truth. I want her to always be respectful, be responsible, and be strong. Just be strong.
Malik,
Um, you know,
I know you got something on this.
well, because I've been quiet because I am one that was growing up. My father was not around, so listening to him speak and how he shows up for his daughter, and all that he's going through. I kind of got mixed emotions a little bit because it's sad when there's and I don't want to keep saying black man, so I'm just going to say when there's a father that's trying to be in a child's life, but the mother won't allow it.
Mhm.
And then there's these fathers that just choose to not be in the kid's life at all, But so it's sad, and then you see online or just anywhere, oh well, he's the dad is this, he's that, and a deadbeat dad and all this other, we always see the negative. Always there's rarely any positive about a black father, a father, a period. So to see that he is trying to be a father and a good father at that, and he's getting bashed, lied on, in the court system. I mean, it's just a lot just because he wants to be a dad, so it bothers me because I know that in my experience, my opinion, my dad did not try. My dad was not in the court system. My mom didn't take him to court. None of that happened. All he had to do was just knock on the door. But it's bothering me a little bit to hear his story because it's just sad. I mean, it's really sad um, that he's trying and the mother will not allow it. I
Mhm.
mean, that's what it is.
Again,
So
I'm sorry to cut you off, brother.
go ahead.
Uh, again, this has been years. I've done research. I've done, like I said, I've done research. I've read studies. I've read things, heard people talk, from here to Jerusalem, man. I done heard everybody talk, try to get people's take on what causes women to do this to men that they know love their children, to men that they know the children loves those men. I don't understand why women would do this other than what I tried to, learn about. And that's what
Yeah.
I feel. Other than, like I said, just bitterness and anger, frustration, maybe to the point, like I said, maybe she had bigger plans in her mind that didn't work out for us because of, I guess, how I ended things. I don't really know, but to sit here and go through this, man, it's very frustrating because I've also thought, well, what if I was one of those guys that just didn't give a hell? What if I was one of those guys that didn't care and said, F it, I'm done. When I'm not going to do this. And, would I even still be going through this? Would she still be running me ragged with lies and this, that, and the third? But I don't think so, because I wouldn't care if she did. You know what I'm saying? That's the mindset. That's the mindset that I've been going through, the struggle, because, men cannot care. I could easily not care about any of this, like we've all talked about. I could easily have walked away. Not easily. I'm gonna say not easily, but I'm gonna say I could have walked away. I could have wiped my hands clean of all of this. My daughter, this, that, and the third. But I'm sticking it out, and to still be punished for sticking it out. Yeah, man, it's definitely an extra struggle.
Yeah,
definitely.
Do we have any comments or questions in the chat, Malik?
So we have had a couple comments, and if anybody else wants to comment and ask some questions, I mean, we have a little bit of time left. I don't want to stay on too long because I understand that he has something to do. But there was one that came in. I don't know if would you like to read that, Dr. Champion?
Okay, so Kevin Dixon says, there is still a stigma surrounding men's mental health that prevents many men from speaking up when they're struggling. Too often, men are taught to stay silent, tough it out, or handle things on their own, which can lead to isolation and worsening mental health. Taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health. Asking for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength and self-awareness. We need to continue encouraging open conversations. So with that comment, Tony, have you, during this particular time, have you sought out counseling or any mental health services during the 7 years?
Tried to, seek things out. But again, the like the guy said, just a teaching, a brainwashing, I guess, so to speak, of how to be a boy in this country, how to be a man in life. And men don't talk about their issues. Men don't, do this or do that. You're taught to, like you said, tough it out, which is to me an insult, because it's like, well, why? What else are we like? What, so I just have to suffer with this. I have to suffer with what I'm going through, and just it doesn't matter to anybody else but me. That I'm going through what I'm going through mentally, or feeling something or thinking of something. And ultimately, men have the highest case of suicide in this country because of the fact that I feel like that's sheer fact. We have no one to talk to. There's no outlets to get things off of our chest besides therapy. And we've been, I guess I say, led astray to some aspect about how therapy is viewed, regarding men. And men don't, talk about their, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just a lot, man.
Well, the thing about therapy is this: the person needing the therapy needs to seek out a therapist. The therapist isn't going to knock on anybody's door and say, hello, do you need mental health services today? Do you need somebody to talk to? The person has to seek that out themselves. Yes, men in general, and Black men specifically, have been stigmatized. Therapy in and of itself has been demonized. But at the end of the day, if we were to take a walk through scripture, Jesus was a master therapist without people even knowing that they were getting therapy. Jesus had conversations with people and changed their whole life in just a few words. And so some of the people sought out Jesus for counsel, and other people Jesus ran into and provided counsel. So with the examples of in our scripture and throughout the Bible, there are people who have suffered depression, who have suffered what we would now term some sort of mental distress or mental illness, But yet there was hope for those people because they had a trust in God, and God supernaturally met their need. So for individuals on here, men, since this is men's mental health month, for men who need an outlet and someone to talk to, there are people readily available to assist. There are people that are men as counselors, and there are very good women counselors as well who are equipped to handle the issues and issues that men are facing. No, can a woman say that she's been a man and understands that from a man's perspective? No, not necessarily. However, there's a plethora of tools available that a female therapist can provide to a man to help them navigate this mental health space. And so there are people available to talk to. The national number or hotline for mental health is 988. You could put that in the chat or something. The national number for mental health services is 988. If you are in need of mental health services and you need someone to talk to, if you are in crisis, if you are experiencing trauma, the number again is 988. Please utilize that so that you can get the mental health services that you need. And as Kevin stated in his comment, is that taking care of your mental health is just as important as caring for your physical health. You'll exercise. People like you, Tony, I know you go to the gym and play basketball. You take care of that part of yourself. But when it comes to our mental health, a lot of people will not take that advice. But that's very good advice. So please, people that are on here, if men, women, please take care of yourself mentally. Malik, did you have any other questions? You had anything you want to share with Tony?
I'm just going to put them on the screen and you can read them if you want.
Mental health is real. This is from Mr. Page. Is real. A lot of people don't understand being a man, and Black, and trying to do what's right. Tony, I think you spoke to that being a Black man, being a man in general, and trying to do the right thing sometimes can be challenging. But it's so needful. Miss Nanette says, I am not trying to be sarcastic, but go to the Steve Wilkos show to prove your innocence. For those who may not know who he is, he used to be with Jerry Springer. Okay, not the late Jerry Springer. Anywho, and Brian says, I'm not sure of the situation, Tony, but you are a child of the King. He's already fighting for you. In the end, you already win. You may not remember him, Tony, but he used to come to Pastor Barry's church all the time and preach a lot. Prophet Brian K. Thompson. But anyway, so I want to say to you publicly, with the hundreds of people that are watching this, that in my opinion, as a Black man, and yes, you're my son, and I am slightly biased, but overall, I've talked to Black men, I've listened to them. You're one of the strongest Black men that I know, because as I stated, suicide is very high among African American men, and you could have been one of those in the statistic, in the data. However, you keep going, you keep showing up. Apparently, because your faith in God is what it is, you trust God in the situation, and you got a pretty looking mom. Anywho, your fortitude to keep fighting, regardless of what's happening, is a testament to me, and it will be to Penelope, but also to the Black men that are on here watching today. Probably some of them, have gone through similar situation, and they just threw their hands up, gave up, said, forget it, I'll pay the child support and move on. But you're still in the fight. You're still here. And to me, that is a phenomenal testament to the character of the young man that you are becoming. And I am so happy to be your mom, even though it is painful, because as a mom, it is painful to watch your son go through something of this magnitude. It is difficult to watch our sons go through anything, period. And so, because you feel helpless as a parent, as a mother, but yet, thank God that you still call me, still talk, I still give you scriptures, I still put you on preachers that I like that will encourage you, and you're growing in that, and that's a blessing to me. So thank you for staying strong in the fight. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for being our Martin Luther King in this struggle, because your story will be told and other people will hear of your strength and what you have accomplished through it all. And so for that, I'm eternally grateful to God for you. So
Appreciate that. Thank you.
hundreds and thousands of people heard it. So
Absolutely. And I don't have much to say, but just hearing just a little bit of your story, and I'm sure there's a lot more, but time won't permit. But I just want to say thank you for being a father who is trying, because I mean, and that's powerful in itself, just to try, you know, because we don't see that a lot. So to know that somebody is trying, a father is trying, a black father is trying, that says a lot.
Yeah.
Somebody that's showing up, that says a lot. Somebody that's still here and hasn't taken his life, that says a lot. So I just want to thank you for not only being a father, but being willing to tell your story, for coming on here to share just a little bit of what you're going through, and to see that you haven't given up. So I want to thank you for that. And before we get off of here, if you want to have any last words or anything you want to maybe get off your chest, we're going to give you the space to do so.
All I can ask for and hope for is just keep me all in your prayers, man. Just continue to pray for me, for my family, my daughter. Just keep me in those prayers, because I need them. That's just where I'm at. I need them. I'm thankful for anybody whoever has, people who know me, people who don't know me. I'm thankful and really appreciative of it. For anybody else who might be going through this, all I can say is I can't even tell them. I can't even tell them what to do. Stay in it, don't quit. I can't do that. All I can do is just say love yourself, but also love your children. That's all I can say.
Yes. So
exactly.
we're gonna let you go, Tony. But before we let you go, again, thank you for coming on today and telling us and being an advocate for Black fathers. Thank you for showing up and doing so today. So safe travels, and hopefully we will talk to you again.
Man, no doubt. Thank you for having me. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Absolutely.
We'll have you on again.
Yes.
Look forward to it.
Okay. Check that info that I texted you. Oh, well, whatever. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that was I was trying to find something, but that was very informational. I mean, it was very powerful for what he said, the little that he shared with us on today. I know that we didn't get a lot of viewers on today like we normally do, and I don't know why, but maybe they're busy. But anywho, I am going to replay this actually next week, because is Father's Day next week?
Yeah, Father's Day is the third Sunday. So, yes.
So I will replay this on the third Sunday, actually, or maybe that Saturday. I don't know yet, but I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it next week again, so somebody can rewatch this and be blessed by this, because I think that's a taboo topic. Men's mental health. That's not something that people talk about. or being a father, period. That's not something that's actually talked about. So I will be replaying this. So if you don't catch this today, be on the lookout next week. I don't know. I may post a flyer, I may not, but just be on the lookout next week to see when I'm going to post it. Do you have any final thoughts before we get off of here?
It is Men's Mental Health Month, and so
Yes.
I want to talk about a man in the Bible who struggled with mental health. His name was Elijah. Elijah, the prophet of God. You know, everybody knows who he is. You know, fought the battle with the at Carmel and against the armies of Baal, and he was successful. But yet there was an antagonist in his life, and her name was Jezebel. We all heard of her. I think one time you talked about Jezebel and what people identified her as, you know, somebody wearing red lipstick and all this other stuff.
Yes.
No, yes, she was a person, and she probably was beautiful. However, that's not what the issue was, okay? Jezebel had mental illness herself. Actually, if we want to really take apart Jezebel's life, she had a lot of bipolar behaviors, bipolar attributes, and so she finds the prophet of God, and she sends her servant to give him a word that by the next day, tomorrow, that he was going to die, and all of this stuff, and that there was going to be all of this stuff happening to him. So what does he do? So he is a man who now has a woman making these allegations and accusations against him after he just won this phenomenal battle, and now he's depressed. He goes and sits under a tree, and he doesn't know what to do with himself. So he goes to sleep. Sleep is the number one sign of sleeping excessively is a sign that someone may be experiencing depression. So he goes to sleep, and the angel of the Lord visits him. And the angel of the Lord says, listen, this isn't going to happen. I'm paraphrasing, if you please. This isn't going to be like this always. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to take this food that has been provided for you, this cake and water, and I need you to eat the food. And so Elijah eats the food, but he doesn't do anything right away because he really has nobody to talk to. The angel of the Lord is talking to him, but Elijah's not really having this dialogue with the angel back and forth, telling him how sad he is and what Jezebel had done, and he didn't know what to do, and his childhood was rough, and all of that. He didn't have that.
Yes.
And the angel of the Lord then says to him another time, listen, eat this food. But now what you're going to do is you're going to get up and you're going to go in the strength of the food. And he does what the angel tells him to do. So why I shared that is because men don't want to do anything. They're comfortable. Let me play my video game for 24 hours and I'll be okay. But no, there's other things that you have to do. And so the angel of the Lord saw that he wasn't taking care of himself. So he gives him something to eat. Isn't that typical of what we find among our brothers who really don't go and get the help that they need? They stop taking care of themselves. They let their beards grow very long, and their hair is all matted, and they don't shower properly, and so forth and so on. It's because they're experiencing depression. And yet there is relief for depression in that you've got to take care of yourself, but also trust the angel of the Lord that is sent to you. And sometimes we miss that. We miss the fact that God has sent somebody to help us, but we miss it because they didn't look the way that I thought they would look, or they didn't sound the way that I thought they were going to sound. And so for Men's Mental Health Month, I want to encourage you to go in the strength of what is provided for you. Go in the strength of knowing that there is There are resources out here for you. Again, that number is 988. There are resources available. There are trained clinicians available in your city. If you don't know where they are, that number will help you find someone in your town, in your area that you can go and see, or even via telehealth. There are a multiplicity of ways that you can get the help that you need. Don't stay under the tree too long. Don't stay under the tree forever. But please don't reject the help that's provided.
Yes. Oh, I thought you had more.
No,
Okay.
go ahead, you share.
But yeah, get some help. Get some help. Bottom line, whoever you are, man, woman. I know this is Men's Mental Health Month, but everybody needs to seek help. If you're in the family, if you're in the Black family that says Black people don't see therapists, that's dumb. Get you some help. If you're in that family that says what goes on in this house stays in this house, that's dumb too. Get some help, because you're slowly killing yourself mentally by holding all that in, by walking around with all that weight on your shoulders about what you've seen, what's happened to you, what you heard, everything that's happened in your house, outside your house, and you're just told to basically shut up and keep quiet and don't say anything. If somebody is telling you that, family, friend, whoever, they need to seek help as well. And if somebody is telling you that also, you probably shouldn't tell them your business because they don't care. They
shouldn't be your friend at that point.
Yeah.
Because a real friend is going to walk you through getting the help that you need. And Tony mentioned something. He said that, there's very few opportunities or spaces for Black men to share what they're going through. And I often talk with an individual who says the same thing. And he said, Black men in particular, often don't feel seen. They don't feel heard. Their emotions don't matter. They're told to just suck it up. And, but what we are finding is there are, I don't even know the number, but there are Black men and men in general who have been violated as children, who have been abused by a family member or a friend. And they have kept that for years. They've been traumatized. There are men who have witnessed the senseless violence against our culture, against a brother or against a sister in our culture. And they keep that in to themselves, and yet they don't do anything with it. And so what tends to happen is those men don't live up to their fullest potential. They don't do what God has ordained for them to do because they are stuck in a time warp, so to speak, such that they are not able to release this and walk in freedom. And Jesus said, I've come that you might have life. Life is not just the ability to get up and breathe or, go shopping or do whatever, but he came that you would have life. And that life is abundant life. That life is freeing life. And so many people walk around not free because, again, they won't seek out help. And some of it has to do with a distrust that a lot of men have with other men, particularly leaders in churches who have violated them even more further. Not just so much physically, but who violate them emotionally and mentally and are masochistic towards them and make them feel that they are less than anything. As a culture, as a Black culture, we were told that, you're 1/4 of a citizen or something to that degree. My history eludes me, but, we were always put down and cast down. So now we're in not so much enslaved where we're picking cotton, but where some of us are still enslaved to our own selves. We're enslaved to our stigmas and enslaved to people, as you said, that tell you, don't you say nothing, honey, about what happened to you when you were 6. Well, why not? Or don't you tell them what that man did on your job, why he fired you for no reason, things of that sort. And especially with what Tony was talking about, you better not say anything to anybody. Well, the fact that he came on here and was so brave to share his story is significant to his healing.
Yes.
And the more that people share, the more the healing they will receive.
Yeah.
And the more healing they get, and the better they become better fathers, they become better parents, they become better church members or pastors or whatever they choose to be, and better friends. And I think this is what the world needs, given what we are facing in our society today, with people wanting to annihilate a particular race of individuals. And people have to live with that stigma every day. Is it going to be my day? Could I possibly be picked up on the street, or for whatever the reason? And so talking and getting the story out helps heal and helps people through the grieving process, because so many of our individuals, Black men in general, women, are grieving losses that they've never talked about.
Yeah.
And this could be a topic we can talk about for a few weeks, because I'm very passionate about this. But Jesus came to give us life, and life abundantly.
But the crazy part, and then I'm going to be quiet because, like you said, we could talk about this because this is a good topic to talk about. But the reason why people aren't choosing life is because they're choosing death. So they don't even make it to the life part yet. They don't even make it to the come to Jesus moment yet, because they choose death so quickly, because their minds are gone, because they are carrying too much in their minds, and they can't handle it. Some people are not as strong as me or Tony that continue to, they may think about committing suicide, but don't go with the act. But some people think about it and do it. They just do it because they take the easier route, because they can't handle the weight.
Exactly.
They can't handle the weight, and they don't know how to handle the weight, because who are they going to talk to? Because they were told to shut up as a child, and they just carry that on into their adulthood and to their elder years. Some people, they don't ever get to life because they always choose death.
Exactly.
But we could talk about this. This is a very taboo topic. And it's killing. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, why do you always keep saying Black men? But it's killing our Black men. It is. It's not, gun murder and stuff like that that's killing Black men, and police officers as well. But Black men are taking their own lives.
Right.
They are.
And the statistic is that 36% of Black men seek out counseling, as opposed to their white counterparts. So the number for Black men to seek out help is very small.
Yes.
So and it is a taboo issue.
Yeah.
But we have to be able to create a safe space for our brothers to have a place to talk, for a place to get out what it is that they're feeling, without any shame, without feeling degraded, without feeling as though they are minimalized or stripping them of their manhood or any of those types of things. There has to be a place for them to be able to come and to talk. And hopefully, thankfully, this platform is available for our brothers to share. And there may be some difficult questions, but without asking some of the difficult questions, we never get to the easy answers.
Yeah, absolutely. We can go on. So I'm going to end it here before we get into something else.
And myself on today. And I know we probably didn't have as many people on for whatever the reason, but hopefully they will go back and watch this because it is so needful, and hopefully it'll help and bless someone else.
Absolutely. And like she said, go back and rewatch this. I plan on playing it next week. This will be on YouTube as well, so it'll always be out there. So hopefully others will see this and be blessed. Maybe reach out to one of us. I mean, you just never know what may happen. Because I've had that happen so far. People have been calling me on thinking I was somebody else, but that's a different story for a different day. Yeah, so we're going to end this because we have exceeded our hour. We've been on an hour and 14 minutes, and Dr. Champion has something to do. I have something to do in the next hour. So I'm going to put this up real quick, and then I'm going to end it. So tonight, come back at 8 p.m. I will be having Lydia Pace from the Anointed Pace Sisters. She will be on tonight. So please come back, like, share, come back and comment, ask your questions, and just be in attendance tonight. If not, oh well, if you don't want to come, don't come. But I would like to see your comments. But anyways, we're going to go live regardless if you come or not. So thank you all for coming on today and being a part of the conversation, the ones that did show up. If you're watching the replay, thank you for coming on. Please leave a comment. And again, we will see you on Fresh Fire Fridays. We'll be posting a flyer whenever we come back. But be looking out for that as well for the next Fresh Fire Fridays. And thank you all again, and have a great evening until 8 o'clock.